Yo guys, how's it going and welcome back to another video. Now today we are talking about the Hungarian Grand Prix for the 2021 season, and wow, what a Grand Prix that was. I mean, the rain helped at the start obviously, but nevertheless, take nothing away, it was an incredible Grand Prix. The amount of stuff we've got to talk through is insane. And Esteban Ocon, take a bow, my friend, because you deserve that win 100%. You absolutely blitzed the field, and you kept behind a four-time world champion for the whole race, which I don't think any other driver could do in a midfield car like that. Absolutely brilliant, and yeah, phenomenal work from Esteban Ocon. So I think there's only one place to start, and that's Alpine. Like I just mentioned, Esteban Ocon winning the Hungarian Grand Prix from P8, I think it was. Obviously, there was a huge drama at turn one. Nearly half of the field got collected in the absolute chaos that ensued. And then Esteban Ocon just got a free ticket into second place at the time. And then obviously there was a miscommunication with Lewis Hamilton with the pit stops. And then obviously, yeah, he pitted for the dries and more or less led the whole Grand Prix. So fantastic work from Esteban Ocon, it has to be said. And like I said, such a mature drive from a guy who has, been sort of up and down in the F1 driver market. He's sort of a driver that a lot of people sort of praise and then sort of say he's overrated and then he's underrated. And it has to be said he hasn't had the best of runs in the last few races, but wow, what a performance from Esteban Ocon. And the other side of the garage, Fernando Alonso finished in 5th place, but what a drive from him as well. And I think he is sort of to thank for Alpine's win today as well, because if it wasn't for him holding up Lewis Hamilton, I think Hamilton would have probably taken the win, because he was only about 3 seconds off the lead, I think it was, at the end of the Grand Prix. So yeah, that battling they did with Lewis, just brilliant. And obviously coming off the British Grand Prix where he had a fantastic weekend as well. Just a phenomenal drive from Fernando Alonso, and proving that he is still the two-time world champion that everyone knows, and it was phenomenal. So we'll do Aston Martin next. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel did finish in 2nd place, just behind Esteban Ocon. Like I said, he was putting the pressure on the whole entire Grand Prix, but ran out at the end of the race of fuel. So he finished the Grand Prix, but he had to stop early, I think, and didn't make it back to Parc Ferme. And that, as a result, caused him to be disqualified later on in the day, and got the whole 18 points taken away from the team, which was such a shame from Sebastian. He did a fantastic job, and all the things he's been doing off track as well, like cleaning up the rubbish at Silverstone as well, just being a good guy, and it's fantastic to see. I also saw a video of him going to this guy's proposal as well to his wife. I think he messaged Sebastian or organised it somehow, and yeah, he got Sebastian Vettel to come to his proposal when he was proposing to his wife, so that was pretty cool. So just wanted to mention that as well. But yeah, Sebastian did a fantastic job, but unfortunately got disqualified at the end of the Grand Prix later on in the day. So yeah, lost the whole 18 points. And Lance Stroll got completely, well, I didn't say he got completely taken out, but he absolutely wiped out Leclerc and Ricciardo as well. I think he was just trying to avoid the incident, but did a terrible job in doing so. Went over the grass at turn 1 and then just sort of ploughed straight into the back of, well, side of Leclerc, and then that sort of spun around Ricciardo and Leclerc at the same time. So yeah, pointless for Aston Martin this weekend, but phenomenal job again from Sebastian Vettel. So next up we'll do Mercedes. Obviously Lewis Hamilton coming from pole position to 3rd place. Now that does not tell the full story, because he had some work to do, it has to be said. Lewis obviously got pole, got a fantastic start, led beautifully into the turn 1. And then obviously the carnage ensued behind him. The red flag came out, and then obviously at the restart of the red flag, Mercedes decided not to pit Lewis Hamilton for the pit stop. I'm not sure why. I think it was just an error from Mercedes, unfortunately, which I think cost them the Grand Prix, because they easily had it in the bag. I heard a few people saying that the only reason they didn't pit Lewis was because obviously his pit box is first, so and every single driver came into the pit, so obviously if he was the first pit box, there's a good chance that he would have been held up by a lot of people. So that's probably the only reason I feel they could put it down to. But overall, I think it was just an error from Mercedes in general. But yeah, no, take nothing away from Lewis's performance. He started on pole. He was the only man to take the restart at the red flag restart. It was it was so weird just to see Lewis and then the safety car all the way at the back. It was so funny, and obviously everyone else is starting in the pit lane, so that sort of screwed Lewis's race. But his comeback was phenomenal. You could tell on the radio as well, he was really panting. It reminded me of 2017 at the Spanish Grand Prix when he was really panting, really trying to chase down Sebastian Vettel in that Grand Prix. Yeah, he's just on the radio like, you could probably, he was proper breathing down the microphone to his engineer. But yeah, P3, and like I said, that battling that he did with Alonso as well was phenomenal. That move he made on Tsunoda as well, around turn 4, he tried the same move on turn 4 on Alonso, but Alonso was having none of it. He's way more experienced than Tsunoda is. But yeah, a phenomenal job from Lewis. I saw as well on the podium celebration, there was a little moment where Lewis sort of picked up the trophy very slowly and didn't really take part in the celebrations. It's because he was suffering from some dizziness. I thought it was just because he was annoyed, but I read after that he was actually suffering from some dizziness, just because he was probably working so hard in the car. But he went to the medical centre and I think he was all okay. So I think it's probably just some after effects as well from the COVID that he had last year as well. Obviously, you can still be affected by it long term as well. But yeah, that's all good. P3, well, P2 actually now for Lewis Hamilton, because obviously Sebastian Vettel DNF'd and gains more points on the championship and actually takes the lead of the championship as well. And Valtteri Bottas, unfortunately, had an absolute stinker. Obviously, got a terrible start. I think he was down to about P5 or P6 at the start before they even made it to turn 1. Obviously, he was right behind Lando Norris. Completely locked up, went straight into the back of him. That then put Lando into Verstappen and then Bottas into Perez. Unfortunately, Bottas and Perez both DNF'd. Verstappen managed to carry on, luckily. But yeah, an absolute stinker from Bottas. But I don't think Mercedes will be too upset because, like I said, they now take over the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship. So, I don't know. So next up, we'll do Ferrari. Carlos Sainz finishing in P4, but obviously promoted to P3 after Vettel's DNF. Yeah, a bit of a quiet one for Carlos Sainz. He did well to hold on. He's, like I said, he just had a sort of quiet race in P3 until Lewis came, and you could tell he was frustrated when Lewis got past. He was like, ah! So I feel like he obviously wanted to keep the position. But yeah, obviously in the end, he got a podium. So another podium for Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. And it's not Sebastian Vettel, that's last year. Charles Leclerc, like I just mentioned, got absolutely taken out by Lance Stroll, rebounded into Ricciardo, and that was his race, completely ruined. You could tell when Leclerc got out of the car, just hands in his head, head in his hands, just absolutely gutted to obviously not score any points or even have a chance to score any points. So yeah, a bit of disappointment for Ferrari in that sense, but Carlos Sainz getting a podium, still points for the team. Next up, we'll do AlphaTauri. They had a very good day. Pierre Gasly finished in P5 and Tsunoda in P6. Obviously, I'm doing it as in Vettel's DNF now, so I'm just going to say it in the order that they officially classified after Vettel's DNF. But yeah, P5 and P6 for Gasly and Tsunoda. Just sort of stayed out of trouble in obviously the lap 1 incident. And then, yeah, just managed to stay in the points, had some good pace. Tsunoda, I think, needed this performance as well because, you know, he's been sort of on the back foot, especially in practice. And obviously, you know, that's not helping the team with the cost cap and everything. But yeah, solid weekend for AlphaTauri and picking up a decent amount of points as well. So next in the list is Williams. Williams got a double points finish. We go from George Russell having all these amazing races and not scoring any points to both Williams drivers scoring the points. It's absolutely phenomenal. So I'm so happy for Williams in general, especially for Latifi and Russell. I feel like they've been through a lot over the last few years, especially George Russell, obviously being at the team longer, but just in general, he could tell he was so emotional after the race as well. And you could really tell what it meant to the whole Williams team as well. So it's absolutely fantastic to see. So yeah, P7 and P9, that means... P7 and P8, that means for Williams. So they get even more points. Absolutely phenomenal and just what they need in their sort of fight with Haas as well. So next up is Red Bull. Like I said, I touched on them with the lap 1 incident when I was explaining what happened with Bottas. So yeah, Red Bull will be bitterly disappointed. The pace in general for the Red Bulls, I just want to quickly mention, didn't really seem that good all weekend, obviously. I think qualifying of Verstappen was about 5 tenths off pole, and didn't really seem that threatening at all. Considering this is a track that really suits the Red Bull car, it looks like Mercedes are back in town. I don't know. Like I said, we didn't really get to see their race pace, unfortunately. But yeah, Verstappen promoted to 9th. So 2 points for the team, and I was really surprised he was even managed to drive that car, let alone overtaking it. So yeah, fair play to Verstappen, getting past Raikkonen and Ricciardo as well, I think it was. So yeah, scoring some points for Red Bull, but not the day that he wanted. And like I said as well, Perez got absolutely taken out by Bottas. Bottas hit Norris. Norris went into Verstappen, and then Bottas completely went to the side of Perez. So they were both immediately out after that. So yeah, only 2 points of Red Bull. Ouch. So next up we'll do Alfa Romeo. So Alfa Romeo, well, Raikkonen finished in 10th, so picking up a point after Vettel's DNF. And Antonio Giovinazzi finished in 14th. Didn't really do much at all. Didn't have any pace. I think there was a miscommunication, I think, with tyres or something. I can't remember really, but yeah, he didn't really have much pace anyway, Antonio Giovinazzi. Raikkonen was there or thereabouts. He was sort of fighting with some people here and there through the midfield. But yeah, a point for Alfa Romeo. And on the subject of Alfa Romeo, I've just realised that they are actually behind Williams now. So Williams are 8th in the Constructors on 10 points, and Alfa Romeo are on 3. That's incredible. So next up we'll do McLaren. Daniel Ricciardo finished in 11th. Unfortunately, didn't really have the pace after the damage after lap 1. Again, it was a good job that he managed to continue, but didn't really account to anything, unfortunately. So P11 for Daniel Ricciardo. Lando Norris as well, DNF'd, like I said, got completely taken out by Bottas, an innocent bystander. He was up to 2nd, I think, at the start of the race as well, going sort of side by side with Verstappen. So it would be really good to see if he could have got another podium, but unfortunately wasn't the case. So yeah, pointless for McLaren this weekend. So the last and final team is Haas. Once again, after that chaotic Grand Prix, still no points for Haas, but Mick Schumacher had a really good race, finished in P12 after everything that happened. Had some good scraps with Lewis and Gasly and Verstappen, I think, as well, and really showing that he is a good driver. He's improving every single Grand Prix. Mazepin got a little bit unlucky as well. He was coming into the pits, Raikkonen got released, and sort of Mazepin's wheel got clipped, and that meant the suspension was broken, and then couldn't continue the race, unfortunately, so they had to retire him. So yeah, once again, no points for Haas in what was a chaotic Grand Prix, and a really good chance for them to take some points. So that is it, guys. Wow, this season honestly has been phenomenal. I think it's I don't want to jinx anything, because obviously, you know, we've still got about 12 races to go, but I don't want to jinx anything. But wow, this is really turning into a fantastic season. When we have races like this, I just love F1. F1 puts a smile on my face, but when we have races like this, it just blows my mind. So yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. What do you think of the lap 1 incident? What do you think of Ocon winning? Just all that good stuff. Let me know all in the comment section of this video. But like I said, if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new as well, and I will see you all again in the next one, guys. Take care.